Hello students, today this video is deputed only for class 11th students concerning to the chapter friction. This chapter included in Newton's laws of motion, from where you have stated that acceleration is equal to F net divided by mass. F net means resultant force. If any object is under the action of two or more than two forces, then first we have to find out its resulting force, and then dividing by mass we will get acceleration. So this concept is used here. Now friction. There is a general sentence which is called about friction, that friction is a necessary evil. Friction is a necessary evil. Actually, friction is very harmful for any human functions, for any works, but sometimes it is very necessary. If there is no friction between foot and earth, then it will be very difficult to walk successfully on the ground. So it is very necessary for the motion of some vehicles on the roads. If our road is muddy and very smooth, then it will be very difficult to run any vehicles on that roady surface. So it is called that necessary evil. But actually, approximately in 80% cases, this friction is avoided. If there is a friction between two objects, then there is a much loss of energy. So our work will not be satisfactorily converted into another form of energy in presence of this force. So this is called that friction is a necessary evil. Now we have to study details about the friction. Look here. Suppose this is a surface and this object is placed here. If this object is placed on this surface and it is kept in stationary, then two types of forces will act on this object. Now this force will be its weight and this force will be normal. This is normal reacting force acting on this object by this surface, and this is the weight that is applied by this mass over this surface. When this object is in stationary, is in rest, then we can say N is equal to mg. Now suppose that if we apply a force on this object and this object moves on this surface, then after some times when we remove this force, then it comes to rest. When this applied external force is removed, then this body comes in rest after some times. So why it comes? A question arises why it comes in rest after some times. We know that the velocity or acceleration of this object is produced by net force. And if this force is applied and body comes in motion, then it slides over this surface. After some time when we remove this force, then it comes to rest. This means there is something opposing force. There is something opposing force which brings this object in rest after some time. If this object moves in this direction, then here is a opposing force between the contact surface of this object to the surface. So this force is known as frictional force. And this frictional force always opposes the relative motion of the object. If this surface is kept in stationary and the velocity of this mass is v, then its relative velocity with respect to this surface will be v, and this velocity or this acceleration is opposed by this frictional force. Therefore, the direction of frictional force is always opposite to the direction of motion of the object. Now here, if this force is applied on this object and body does not come in motion, then we can say that frictional force is just equal to this applied force. And if we again apply heavier mass, heavier force, but this body doesn't come in motion, then this frictional force increases and becomes equal to this applied force. Similarly, as we apply the external force, as the magnitude of applied external force increases, in the same way, this frictional force opposing the external force also increases in the same proportion. But after some time, we come to a limit of this force which opposes the motion of the object, and that is known as limiting force. Let us suppose this mass, when we applied this force F, and this mass is not in motion but it is about to move, then this force will be called F limiting. And here this F limiting is the maximum force that is equal to the frictional force. So this frictional force is the maximum limit of the friction above which this force can't exceed. So it is called F limiting force. Now what will be some rules about this F limiting force? Now here we are taking an example. If we apply here, suppose the 2 Newton force and object is not in motion, then this frictional force becomes equal to 2 Newton. If we applied here 4 Newton force and the body is not still in motion, so the frictional force becomes equal to 4 Newton. Similarly, if we apply here 6 Newton force and the body is not in motion, then frictional force increases and becomes up to equal to 6 Newton. But suppose that if we applied here 6.8 Newton force and the body is about to move, then we can say that this will be called F limiting or limiting force, because this is the maximum force which keep this body about to move, but the body is not moving but about to move. So this will be called limiting state of the object, and in the limiting state, what is the maximum frictional force acting on this object is known as F limiting force. Now here, if we draw the graph between applied force and frictional force, then we find this type of relation here. Now suppose that we apply this force here and then frictional force becomes this. Similarly, if we apply this force here, then frictional force increases in the same proportion. Similarly, if we apply this force, then frictional force increases in this proportion. In this way, finally, we come to this stage where this force is applied and the frictional force becomes this much. So this will be called limiting value. So this is F limiting. So this F limiting is the maximum frictional force. After that, the graph will turn back like this way, and then it becomes stationary here. So this vertex is the maximum value of the applied force. So this gives the maximum limiting frictional force. After that, this limiting force decreases, and so this will be known as here kinetic frictional force. So frictional force is divided in two parts. One is called static and other is called kinetic. Static frictional force is applied on the object to oppose its motion when it is not in acceleration. And this kinetic frictional force is applied on the object to reduce its motion, to oppose its motion. Therefore, when body is rest, then frictional force will be called static frictional force, and when body is in motion, then it will be called kinetic frictional force. So Fs and Fk. Now this graph shows that frictional force is self-adjusting force. Frictional force is self-adjusting force. From this graph we are looking here that as the applied external force increases, in the same way this frictional force also increases. And when we come to this stage, this means we have applied such a force which gives the maximum static force, and this maximum static force is known as F limiting force. After that, when we apply the external force, then this body comes in motion. Therefore, this maximum value reduces up to here. So this is called F kinetic, and after that this becomes constant. So we can say that Fk is always less than Fs. This means kinetic frictional force is always less than static frictional force. Now here, let us suppose this is rough surface and this is the object. According to the modern concept, why this frictional force arises when this object slides over this object. When this object is kept stationary on this object, then we can say that the net force applied on this object becomes 0, therefore it is not in motion. But when we apply the external force, here we applied the external force, then to oppose this external force, there is another force that's called frictional force, and this frictional force is called tangential force. It will be tangential force are along the surface but opposing this force, so this will be called static frictional force. And according to the modern concept, this static frictional force between the contact of this mass and the surface is due to the interaction between the surfaces. And when it moves, then there is a friction, and due to the friction there will be a charge distribution between the atoms of this mass and the surface. And when the charge distribution occurs between these two surfaces, then electrostatic attractive force arises here. And according to the modern concept, this electrostatic attractive force will try to cling this mass to the surface, and that is the origin of frictional force. And this frictional force always opposes the motion of the object. Now here rules for limiting frictional force. What is rules for limiting frictional force? Now the first point, if we consider the nature of the surface, then we find that frictional force depends on the roughness or smoothness of the surface. As roughness of the surface increases, then frictional force increases, and if smoothness of the surface increases, then its frictional force decreases. So it is a very common sense. We understand that roughness is the cause of arising of the frictional force. So this limiting force depends on the nature of surface on which any object slides, and it arises only when there is a relative motion between the object and to the surface. Second, this limiting force does not depend on the area of contact, but it only depends on the roughness or smoothness. And the next point, let us suppose this is the object here, and this frictional force, so this is the mass mg, and here this is normal force n. When it is in rest, then we can say this normal force is just equal to mg. But suppose that if there is a static frictional force, this is a static frictional force, then there will be a resultant force between normal and this. So this is the resultant force here. When this frictional force is applied on this object, then this normal force bends towards the direction of this frictional force. But when external force is removed, then this resultant goes on this normal force, and then body becomes in rest. Now if this body moves, then what happens? This resultant force makes some angle from this normal force, and that is known as angle of friction. So we can say that this Fs, limiting force or static limiting force, this is directly proportional to normal force, and therefore this Fs is equal to mu s into n, where this mu s is known as coefficient of friction. So this is called coefficient of static friction. Fs is equal to mu s into n. But suppose if this body is set in motion, then this formula Fk proportional n, so this will be Fk is equal to mu k n, where this mu k is known as kinetic coefficient of friction. So, and if we want to find out the definition of this coefficient of friction, so this will be the ratio of static force and to the normal force. So mu s is equal to Fs upon n. This Fs and n both are forces, so it is dimensionless or no unit. Mu s and mu k both, mu s in stationary condition and mu k in motion, both are called, this is static coefficient of friction and this is called kinetic coefficient of friction, or both have no unit. So limiting force is directly proportional to the normal force. Now angle of friction. What is angle of friction? Now consider this is the surface and this is the object here. If this object moves in this direction here, then kinetic frictional force opposes in this direction. Since this frictional force is always tangential force, it is a tangential force, so its direction will always be along to the surface on which this body is sliding. Suppose this body slides in this direction, then this kinetic frictional force will act just its opposite direction. Now here this is mg and this is the normal force. This normal force and this is the Fk. Both are at 90 degree, so their resultant will be in this direction, F net. This is the resultant. The angle between this resultant force and to the normal force is, suppose that, lambda. So this lambda is called angle of friction. Angle of friction. Now try to understand again. Let us suppose this is the surface on which this object is sliding. Let us suppose this object slides in this direction. Then this frictional force acting along the surface and will be just opposite to the direction of motion of this object. Now this is the weight of the object and this is the normal reacting force applied by the surface to the object. Here this is the normal force and this is the Fk, and since we know that this Fk is directly proportional to n, therefore the resultant of n and Fk, resultant of n and Fk is F net. This F net, this resultant force makes some angle from this normal force, so this angle is called angle of friction. Now here F net, this is net force, this is resultant force between normal force and kinetic frictional force, so its numerical value will be equal to n square plus Fk square. So this is under root n square plus Fk is equal to mu k into n whole square. So this becomes under root n square common, 1 plus mu k square. Take n square outside, so this will be under root 1 plus mu k square. This will be F net. Now we have to find out what is relation between angle of friction and mu s. Relation between mu k and lambda or mu s lambda. Suppose that this is the object placed on this surface and this surface slides on over this surface in this direction here. Therefore kinetic frictional force will act just opposite to this motion, and this is mg and here it is normal force. Now suppose that this is resultant force F and this resultant force is resultant force of normal and Fk. Normal and Fk का resultant क्या है? F है. And this resultant force makes angle lambda from this normal force. So this is called angle of friction. Now if we resolve this force, then we find its component F cos lambda along this normal force and F sin lambda along this frictional force. In limiting condition, what happens? This F sin lambda in limiting condition, this n will be equal to F cos lambda. This force will be equal to the normal force, and this force will be equal to kinetic force F sin lambda, So in limiting condition, it will be written as Fs. So n is equal to F cos lambda, and this Fs is be F sin lambda. Therefore, F sin lambda divided by F cos lambda is equal to Fs upon n. This becomes tan lambda is equal to Fs upon n. So this Fs upon n is known as mu s. So mu s is equal to tan lambda, or lambda is equal to tan inverse mu s. This is the relation between static coefficient of static friction force and this lambda, that's known as angle of friction. Now we take some cases. Let us suppose here this is the surface, and here this is the mass. Let its mass is 10 kg, and if we apply this force here, suppose that 100 Newton force, and this force brings this object in acceleration. Let us suppose this is A. So how will you calculate this acceleration produced in this object? Whereas mu k is given, suppose that 0.2 and value of j is 10 meter per second square. This is what mu k, kinetic coefficient of friction between this mass and the surface. G is this much. How to find out this acceleration? Now, as we look the free body diagram of this mass, then we find that this is the weight mg, and this mg is equal to 10 into g, and this will be the normal reacting force applied by the surface over this mass. Since this is the external force, 100 Newton is applied, which brings this mass in acceleration, and then its opposing force, that is called kinetic frictional force, it will be along this surface, that is Fk. So if this object moves in the direction of this 100 Newton force, then we make two equations. N is equal to 10 into g, that is 10 into 10, this becomes 100 Newton. Now here we have to find out this relation. This relation we can say that 100 minus Fk is equal to 10 into A. By second rule of Newton's motion, we may say that F net, this F net will be equal to 100 minus Fk, and that F net will provide the acceleration in the object. So 100 minus Fk is equal to 10A. Since Fk, this is equal to mu k n, this will be mu k, and n is 100, but mu k is given 0.2 into 100, so this will be 20 Newton. Now putting this value in this equation, we have 100 minus 20 is equal to 10A. Therefore, A is equal to 80 by 10, so 8 meter per second square. In this way, we can find out acceleration produced in this object when it draws by the effect of this 100 Newton. Now, motion on inclined plane. Motion on inclined plane. Let us suppose this is inclined plane, inclined at angle theta from horizontal, and this is the mass m that is kept over this surface. If this angle theta is too small to slide this object over this surface, so what happens here? Its weight mg, and this will be the normal reacting force. This is the normal reacting force applied by the surface over this mass, and this is the weight of this mass working vertically downwards. So resolving this mg in two parts, one part is here and other part is here. Since this angle is theta, so this angle will be theta, this part will be mg cos theta, and this part will be mg sin theta. Now here this mg cos theta balance the normal reacting force, but this mg sin theta will try to take this mass towards itself. This means this mass slides down in the direction of mg sin theta. So to oppose the motion, let us suppose this is acceleration A. To oppose the acceleration or motion of this object, a kinetic frictional force will be just opposite to this mg sin theta. Why? Because this mg sin theta is the force which brings this mass in acceleration towards itself, and this kinetic frictional force will come in behavior and opposite, so its direction will be just opposite to this mg sin theta. Now here, if we apply Newton's second law, then we find that n is equal to mg cos theta. N is equal to mg cos theta, and here this mg sin theta minus fk, mg sin theta minus fk is net force, that's equal to ma. Now here we have to calculate this fk, since fk is equal to mu k into n, so this will be mu k into n is mg cos theta. Mg cos theta, substituting this value in this equation, we have mg sin theta minus mu k into mg cos theta is equal to ma. Therefore, acceleration in the object, m will be cancelled out. We have sin theta minus mu k into cos theta into g. In this way, by this equation, we can find out the acceleration produced in this mass. Now we take another case. If this angle is theta and this is the mass m, if this mass is carried by this external force F that is along this inclined plane, so it will draw this mass upward along this plane. Now in this case, what happens? This is mg and this will be mg cos theta, this angle is theta, so this will be mg sin theta, and here this will be normal force. Since this force is drawing this object upward, so acceleration will be in this direction. Now here, think for frictional force, kinetic frictional force. What will be the direction of kinetic frictional force? Kinetic frictional force will try to oppose this external force, so its direction will be just opposite. Here this will be Fk. Now if we make the equation, then we find that N is equal to mg cos theta, and here F minus this total force Fk plus mg sin theta will be equal to ma. Therefore, A is equal to F minus Fk plus mg sin theta whole divided by m. Now here F minus Fk is equal to mu k n minus mg sin theta divided by m. So this becomes F minus mu k into n is mg cos theta minus mg sin theta divided by m. So in this way we can find out acceleration in this case. Now again, sometimes this force is not applied along the direction of this inclined plane, but it is applied like this way, making some angle alpha from the plane. If this force makes some angle alpha from this plane and draws upward to this mass m, then we have to resolve this force. Let us suppose this component will be F cos alpha and this component will be F sin alpha. In this case, what happens here? This F cos alpha is greater, therefore net force becomes F cos alpha minus Fk plus mg sin theta is equal to ma, and here n plus F sin alpha is equal to mg cos theta. Since Fk is equal to mu k n, so this becomes mu k. In place of n from this equation we write mg cos theta minus F sin alpha. In this way, putting this value here, we have F cos alpha minus Fk. So this will be Fk mu k in mg cos theta minus F sin alpha, again minus mg sin theta is equal to ma. So from this equation we calculate this mass m. Now again, suppose this is a rough surface. Let us suppose this is table. A mass is placed here. Let us suppose m1, and here is a smooth pulley. A string is attached to this mass m1 and it carries over this pulley, and the next mass m2 is attached here. Then what happens if This will be the direction of acceleration produced in this system. Then look here. In this part of string there is a tension force T, and similarly in this part of string the same tension force will be T, because each part of the string will have the same tension force. Now here, if this mass is accelerated towards the pulley, then to oppose this force there will be a kinetic frictional force, and that kinetic frictional force will always opposite direction to the motion of this mass. So in this case here will be m2g. If we apply Newton's second law, then we find T minus Fk. T minus Fk is equal to m1a, and from there m2g minus T is equal to m2a. Since focus about this mass, when we make its free body diagram, then we find m1, first mass m1g, second normal reacting force, third Fk, and here tension T. This is the free body diagram of mass m1. So its weight will be downward and normal force will be upward. So from there we also know that n is equal to m1g. Therefore Fk is equal to mu k n. So this will be mu k into m1g. Fk is equal to this much. Putting this value here, we have T minus mu k m1g is equal to m1a. Now solving these two equations, we can find out acceleration produced in both the masses. Again, let us suppose there are two inclined planes here. This makes angle alpha and this makes angle beta from the horizontal surface, and here is a pulley, a smooth pulley. Mass m1 and mass m2 are attached here, and both are attached by a inextensible string that will carry over by this pulley. What will be in this case? Let us assume that acceleration in this system is from m1 to m2. This means m2 is going downward and m1 is going upward. What happens here? This will be the tension force, and here this will be the tension force. Now its mass here m1g, and its resolved component, this will be m1g cos alpha. This will be the normal force. Let us suppose this is n1. Now here, since it is going upward, this mass m1 is going upward, so to oppose its motion, this will be the direction of Fk dash, and here this will be the direction of mg sin alpha. This is the case of mass m1. When this mass m1 is kept on this inclined plane and it draws upward, then we find this free body diagram of the mass m1. Its weight m1g downward, and this component m1g cos alpha. This component will be m1g sin alpha. Since this mass m1 is going upward, therefore to oppose its motion, this kinetic frictional force will be in this direction. Now here, if we make the equation, then we find that T minus mg sine alpha plus Fk dash is equal to m1a. This is m1g. And n1 is equal to here m1g cos alpha. From here Fk dash is equal to mu k dash n1. So this will be mu k dash into m1g cos alpha. So putting this value here, we find equation from this side. Similarly, on this side, what happens? The motion of this mass is downward. So to oppose this motion, there will be frictional kinetic force in this direction. This force opposes the motion of this object, and this will be m2g. So this will be m2g cos beta, and here this will be m2g sin beta. So in this case, this will be normal force n2. What equation will be here? n2 is equal to m2g cos beta, and here m2g sin beta minus net force T plus Fk double dash is equal to m2a. This Fk double dash will be equal to mu k double dash n2, and this will be mu k double dash into m2g cos beta. Putting this value here, we have the equation. In this way, different problems can be solved by carrying the direction of frictional force, because it is always opposing force. Now, rolling friction. What is rolling friction? Before rolling friction, we have to know what is repose angle. In this case, let us suppose this is inclined plane and here an object is placed. Suppose this angle is theta 1. This angle theta 1 is very small and the mass will have no movement. If we increase this angle theta 2, let us suppose here, this angle is increased up to theta 2. Here theta 2 is greater than theta 1. Then this object is not moving, but it is about to move. So the angle of inclined plane from horizontal surface, so that the mass placed over this surface is about to move. So this angle is known as repose angle. So repose angle is the angle of inclination on which the placed object is about to move, is known as repose angle. Now here rolling friction. If we consider this is the wheel and here this is a road and this is wheel here. This is the point of contact. This is the point of contact and this is the center O. At this point, the normal reacting force will pass through the origin, pass through the center of this wheel. Again, try to understand. This is the wheel and this wheel is kept on this road. Let us suppose it is in stationary. Then what happens? the normal reacting force at this touching point P will pass through its center, and this is called normal reacting force N. Let us suppose its radius is small r. Its radius is small r. Therefore, this mu r, it is called coefficient of rolling frictional force. Coefficient of rolling frictional force is equal to normal force divided by radius. This is normal force and this is radius of the wheel. So this will be the relation between rolling coefficient of friction. कितना हुआ?